Hey guys, we're back at it with part 4 of our tour. This time we're rolling into the vibrant 80s era of skateboarding, which is obviously my personal favorite. From the neon graphics to the iconic boards that defined a generation, we're in for a real treat here. And for all you guys still searching for Chin, you're in for a special surprise. So let's not wait any longer and we'll jump straight in.
So I'm Todd Huber. I'm the founder and the curator here at the Skateboarding Hall of Fame.
So I was born in '74.
Oh yeah, just a baby.
Yeah. So, but for me, it's all about, I see the Tony Hawk and Lester Kasai.
Yeah,
and,
the 80s.
You know,
right?
that Psycho Stick. And like, to me, that's like my legends or my icons. But then you see all these older decks here and it's like, man, there was a lot that happened way before I ever became aware.
It's sometimes hard to think of that. And most people that come in are like you, go straight for the back to the neon. Like the trackers or the independents were the ones that everyone rode.
One other that I remember in the magazines that I never saw, they were Z-Roller. Do you got any of those?
Yeah, I have some Z-Roller, but they're on loan to I'm doing a display at a museum in London. They just left.
Okay.
So I have some, and they're amazing.
And then for me, the weirdest trucks were those G&S.
Yeah,
they were aluminum.
I have
plastic,
some of those too. Yeah,
they had a bad rap from everybody. Say that I'd never bent mine.
They always would break, and they had hollow kingpins. I
had hot pink ones. I remember.
I think I also just sent them out too. But there's
this is what brings the feels back to me looking at all these, because this is what my friends had or in the magazines. I had the Gull Wing trucks too, and the
Gull Wing,
the trackers.
Yeah, there's some that had the plastic base plates.
I was going through that.
The G&S ones are gone. I do have some somewhere.
I was going through that flyer I was mentioning, stack of flyers, and I think it said 1986, and it was a tracker truck survey. And it had like all the where do you skate, what do you, and there's like a section where it's like pool, bowl, slalom, and there's a box for other, but there was no street anywhere. It was before.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And I was thinking about taking that. It's like the larger 14-inch. Anyway, filling it out and sending it. Sorry, I took so long to get this back to you, but
probably the same address. The guy that founded Tracker, Larry Bama and Lance Smith, they were just here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had that Tony Hawk there too.
Yeah, that's a real mild one. It's really low key on the graphics.
And I had the Mike Vallely
fiber light. These are weird ones.
I had.
This is a Mike V. It's kind of messed up, but
I had forgot. I had it was a Rob Roscopp, and it was like fiberglass. Does that ring a bell?
They made a couple like that.
Because the tail with no tailbone, it wore away, and then there was like foam inside.
Yeah, they had one called the Blacklight series, and they had the one called Foam Core. It was probably one of those.
Yeah.
Like that's their version of it called the Fiber Light. It's like
so that's a
G&S Billy Ruff. It's like a hollow light or something. It has a rubber bumper around the whole thing's like a black rubber bumper.
Oh yeah, to keep it from chipping.
Funny.
My first skateboard was not that one, but the Gator. My first real one. My sister had maybe late 70s, I don't know. It was a roller derby. It was yellow.
Yeah, I know those are plastic.
Yeah, it was plastic.
I have one up there somewhere.
And of course, just like all the loose bearings, and they fell out at one point.
Exactly. That's typical. And that's why a lot of the boards made it this far, because the wheels one wheel fell apart, and then nobody wanted to throw the whole board away. So
so they just put it in the corner of the garage, and then someday the dad's like, "This has got to go."
And then I ended up with it.
That's awesome.
Hopefully, best case scenario.
Yeah. Well, we went to the Powell Peralta skate shop this morning, and he was telling me, I see it there.
Oh yeah, the chin board.
They sent you guys the.
I'm so glad he mentioned that, because I don't know if they talk about us or not, but for a long time, this whole wall was a tribute to Powell Peralta, because they're so cool to us. Like George Powell gave us that, and we didn't even ask. He just was like, it's got to go to the Hall of Fame. We're like, God, George, I love you.
Yeah, I mean, this is for 80s kids at least, and I'm sure, but this is like history, right? This
people take pictures. People come here to get pictures in front of it.
I definitely need to get a picture in front of this before we leave.
And if you watch the clip, Tony Hawk goes up to it and he's like, "Oh wow, it looks like a skate god must have skated this." And they're going crazy over it, and then Lance Mountain blows it off, and it says Guadalupe. It's to the south. I think it's to the south. And they look to the south, and then they see the animal chin wrap. All because of this. Then there's an artist named Tim who drew these pencil drawings. These are the original pencil drawings.
Okay, wow.
And one of them, he depicted what Animal Chin would look like sitting in front of. Yeah, it's cool.
That is really cool.
And I had these. I've had these for about 15 years. And I just got this like a year ago. And it just matched up. So this whole wall wasn't tribute to Powell Peralta.
Okay.
And this is Lance Mountain art. This is all original Lance art.
Yeah.
But then it goes into Shepard Fairey and then Bill Barminski and a few other artists because it's kind of a temporary show that we're doing right now.
Okay.
And that's why there's some leftover Powell stuff, like the bones and some of the stuff up there.
Yeah.
But they're from Santa Barbara, which is kind of always, since I've grown up here, they've always kind of been like our local heroes. 805, see, it's just like they're our local company.
Yeah, they were so I mean, I don't know who the guy at the shop, apparently he's been there forever, but he was so friendly.
Oh yeah, they're
telling
cool.
us stories. And
yeah, they're cool. And the only reason they don't have this in there is because they don't have enough room, or they would just put it.
He said that when they left, or the factory or whatever, they moved to Ventura from. Yeah. They were like, we gotta do something with it.
And it was in a crate. Like it wasn't just thrown on the ground. It was like in a wooden crate, suspended by carpet. Like it was like hanging free. And it was already in that condition. So Powell used to have a skate park too called the Skate Zone, and it was in there. And that's when it got. People used to pick pieces off it.
Because they were like, I want a piece of history.
Yeah, and all this denting is from skateboards hitting it.
Oh wow!
And then eventually they put it on this thing.
So they wouldn't,
And then they put it in storage, and I don't know how it got so weathered.
Yeah, but I imagine there was. This, like and then there was a coating on top of it.
It had like this, you can still see some of the coating. Yeah. And the cool part was, it was made by VCJ, and VCJ is the guy that did all the
graphics,
And I guess at that time he was really into these wire sculptures. And that's what I think is so cool about it, that he actually made the board.
I think it's cool to see how they've all kind of got their momentum back, and he's doing the graphics for Andy Anderson and some of the
he's
newer
still
guys.
Around. I just saw him at an event. Juice Magazine did an event, and he was like the guy they were hanging out with.
And then the Hosoi, the Rockets.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was that one of his, or is it just a?
He had a team of like 10 guys, and he when you got on the team, you got the jacket.
Okay.
And that was actually from a guy, Mark Partain, and he worked for me for a couple summers teaching my summer camp. And then when I bought that from him, and I love him. He's a great guy, but they always when you hand them the money, they always say, "And I'm gonna get that." This is just temporary.
It's like a pawn shop.
Yeah. Like, and that was many, many years ago. But I was like, dude, no, you're not getting it back. And at the time, though, I didn't say that. I was like, okay, that's here. Yeah. But I haven't talked to him since. That's happened a few times.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
And I hope you get some. I think you got some good stuff. There's
for sure.
There's a lot for your brain when you come in here.
Yeah. Definitely a lot for your brain. So yeah, a blast from the past with those unforgettable 80s boards and that amazing Animal Chin set piece. It's stuff like this that makes skate history so captivating. And thanks for joining us on this part of the journey, but we're not quite done yet. In our next segment, part 5, we'll be exploring some of the contemporary modern boards that Todd picked up from his time at the Skate Lab. And if that wasn't enough, he took us behind the scenes into his personal vault, which is a treasure trove of skateboards and all kinds of different artifacts, many of which haven't been displayed to the public yet. It's gonna be epic, so make sure to catch the next installment, and then we'll see you in the next video. All right, thanks, bye-bye.